Well, hello, folks. Once again, it's riding with Killer time. Killer ain't riding because it's snowing outside. Wow, it just started this crap. Pardon my language. For those of you who want to know how he's doing, there's Buddy Dog. Buddy Dog watching counting cars. Anyway, what I'm here to show you today is what is going to revolutionize. This is how far behind the times I am. Yeah, anybody that knows me knows I ain't technical. I mean, I'm still riding a push rod, although I do have an overhead cam motor, a push rod operated V-twin, and driving a carbureted Chevy pickup. But this is going to revolutionize this channel. This will make it better. This will allow you to go with me. Actually, go with me. What we have purchased with our stimulus check money, because I believe in stimulating things. Woo! Get stimulated. I purchased that. That is a GoPro Hero 3. Right now I'm learning how to use it. Right now, if I did go out and record me riding in the snow, the only way I could show you anything would be to do this and go back to back because, well, I found out the next thing I got to get is either access to a laptop or laptop. And right now it's the laptop because the access to the laptop is still under COVID restrictions. COVID sucks. The big one. Now, we were going to discuss, we're in a couple of things here. I'm not going to go political. I did a couple political rants on Facebook. Surprised I ain't got kicked off. We're not going to go political. This is a motorcycle channel when the weather allows. Doing this in the winter is kind of weird. But this is a motorcycle thing. For those of you who are worried about my blog, once again, I don't have a laptop. My laptop, the 58 Buick of laptops, of computers, went to computer heaven, and we ain't upgraded yet. We got a YouTube, we got a GoPro, but we didn't upgrade the laptop yet, or computer. Like I said, it was the 58 Buick of computers, actually probably the 58 Renault of computers, and it just kind of, and locked up and died. And it ain't been upgraded. So, we got to upgrade. All right. We have to do this. Before I can do that, before I can do anything else, although they tell me there are other ways around this, I'm still learning this. And I'm not going to put anything out there on this channel till I get this done because I don't want to have to make y'all suffer through it. You suffer through me enough. What we're doing is right now, we're learning. And my blog channel hasn't had a blog on it in a bit, although it's still getting pretty good viewership at WilliamKillerMiller.com, all one word, simply because due to the COVID, my computer access is limited. I use a computer at the library. And the library be closed. So, there you go. Now, I was going to do a thing all political-wise. No. I was going to do a thing about freedom. And I'm going to do a little tiny bit about freedom. Fort9, the guy that does the Fort9 blog on here, had a good statement about it. He said, freedom isn't necessarily riding a motorcycle. It's the ability to overcome your fears when you're riding a motorcycle or your fears of doing anything. Like, well, me swimming. I don't swim. I was in a traumatic thing when I was a child involving a flood and vividly remember riding out a flood on my mom and dad carrying me out of the house during a flood. And we moved. Like the next week, we moved. and down off of Little Creek and on Stroop Road, and we moved, and we've been on hills ever since, and that screwed me up swimming. So me in a swimming pool doing anything in water, I'm like when we go to the ocean or something and I wade out knee deep, that's overcoming a lot of fear. That's your freedom right there. That is freedom, when you can overcome a fear. If you want to learn about freedom in America, watch the movie Easy Rider. Or Google Jack Nicholson, Dennis Hopper conversation about freedom in the movie Easy Rider. And listen to it. And then watch it again and listen to it. And then if it don't really sink in, watch it a third time and really listen to it. It ain't far from the truth. And to think they were stoned out of their minds when they did it. So what I'm thinking, we got some other big news, not just the GoPro. Yeah, I'm bragging on the GoPro. I have no idea how to work this damn thing. I mean, I figured out how to turn it off and on and get it to do a few things. But, of course, the phone is smarter than me. It knows how to work it. The next big news is we're one step closer to getting the big red girl back on the road. Motor's been bought. Motor's not a motor. Motor's an electric device. Engine's been bought, and the engine is at Widman's. So all we got to do now is get a nice enough day that I can limp the big red girl up there, leave her when they've got time to work on her and I've got money to pay for it, leave her and let the transplanting begin. Woo! Hopefully by my birthday in March, that dude will be back up on the road. The big girl up on the road, although she will no longer be, she will be, but she won't be adding to it in my mind. I've got the mileage at 263 and change, and we always considered her the 250,000-mile victory. Well, that was on the original numbers matching motor and frame. Due to the massive rod knock and other things, just 264,000 miles, she will now have a transplanted motor. And while she will still be the big high mileage girl, I'm going to be keeping track of the miles from my miles ridden for the year. But to me, to say I'm adding miles to an all original bike wouldn't be true. It just wouldn't be. So I could say, well, the frame has got 300,000 or hopefully 500,000, and the motor has X amount on it. So that's where we're going from there. The next thing I'm going to discuss, and I'm running a little long here, so I'll speed it up, is what's the next big trend going to be? Well, from people I know right now, fixing what you got is the next big trend. I just saw the new Harley video and it's like, wow, a whole bunch of stuff that we have with different colors. Oh, and we got this Pan American over here. Don't forget the Pan American. And we're working on what might be the replacement for the Sportster. We ain't made up our minds yet because God knows our 500 and 750s failed. And we don't know if we want to release that on the public yet. A Pan America motor in a Sportster frame. We don't know if we want to release that yet, but we don't really know. But we know we got a whole bunch of other things. I know they did away with the hydraulic clutch on their touring bikes. That was like the big news. Woo, we got rid of the hydraulic clutch. Okay. I always kind of wished Victory put a hydraulic clutch on everything, but they're like, nope, we went back to the cable. It's simple. You replace the cable. You ain't got to bleed it. You ain't got to worry about this, that, or the other. So Okay, Japanese manufacturers only been doing it for years, but that's Harley Davidson. They do how they do, and people will buy them. And right now, it seems more along the lines of, from what I know, talking to people getting them fixed. Right now, the biggest thing on the market is two old things: is your Sportsters are still there, although they've seemed to level out at about $2,500 to $3,000. Unless it's a super duper special limited edition deal or stupid low mileage, or one that somebody's got a ton of money in and feels that they're going to get $6-7 for it. Dream on. You put a ton of money into stuff, you're doing it for what you want. You may not recoup that in your sale. So you better enjoy it while you got it. And the other one is, and this one strikes me as funny, kind of, but 80s heavy touring bikes from Japan are now suddenly a thing. Namely, Aspencades and Interstate Goldwings and the big Kawasaki 6-cylinder Voyagers are now a thing. I mean, I would have never guessed it, but people are letting them go for like $2,500. I've seen them go anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000. And I mean, honestly, for $2,000, I don't have it. It's going into the big girl. But for $2,000, I'm not a fan of the Leadwing, but $2,000, buy one, beat it to death for life. They will last forever. Too Many Gadgets gives most bells and whistles for me, but you ain't going to find a more comfortable bike. You really, truly won't. I hate to say this, but they are there. And I think that's going to be the new thing. I expect two new things. That's going to keep being a thing. And I expect 80s power cruisers, your V-Maxes, your V65 Magnus and Sabres, the overcomplicated, hard to tune, but big, muscular, manly man bikes to become a thing again. I actually, in a way, suspect in about, I'd give it 5 more years, maybe, V-Rods to become a thing again. Not that they're selling them. I mean, they still make V-Maxes. I've heard they're on their way out, but you can still go to the dealer if you can find one. You can throw money down on the table and buy one of the nastiest, meanest, baddest ass looking bikes ever built. They ain't as badass as they were when they were new, but they are still pretty badass. How many times can Killer say ass today? I don't know, why don't you ask him? But I expect the V-Rod to be a thing. Here, it's going to take about 3 to 5 years. But I expect them to be a thing. Lord knows it was a love or hate bike. But I expect them to be a thing again. Sort of like the FXR is now. And the Dyna. Now that they ain't making them no more, people want them. It's going, and the Dyna was like the best Evo Harley made. But that's where we're at. I'm not going to get into this whole thing in Washington. I've already done that on Facebook. I'm not going to do it here. Neither one of them two parties gives a rat's rear end about us. I'd rather just show you pictures of Buddy. There, Buddy. And stuff like that. I got to get the rest of the Christmas tree down. It's after the Epiphany, so it can come down without bad luck and stuff like that. But, while you're out there doing get your maintenance done, get your gear looked at. If we get a nice date, go for a ride. The best way to winterize your bike. Best way to winterize your bike. Ride the bike. Make sure you check your tire pressure, though, because cold air will do weird stuff to tire pressure. And do stuff like that. Be nice to each other. Peace, love, and motorcycles. This is your weekly Riding with Killer update. Next week, hopefully next week or the week after, we get the Big Red Girl up to Women's Motorcycle Service on South Broadway in St. Louis. And get it looked at. Also, I want to put a plug in for my buddy Tom Rose. I don't have your Fizz account thing. I wrote it down and I lost it. But I don't have your account, but my buddy Tom Rose, Goozy to his friends, does wonderful voiceover work. So if you need a voiceover dude, hit me up. I can hit him up and give him the info, and we'll play He Said, She Said, and all of that, and it'll get to him. We'll play telephone, it'll get to him, and he can hit you up with a deal. He does wonderful voiceover work. Next time I'll try to have his account on here, his Gmail, whatever. And but he does voiceover stuff. So there you go. He's like the Big Swag on Monster Garage, which is back on Discovery Plus, by the way. There, I plugged 2 things. Now, everybody, peace, love, and motorcycles. This is your weekly Riding with Killer. Hopefully, pretty soon we'll have the GoPro figured out, and I'll show you the engine up at Woodman's. Talk at y'all later. Killer out. Bye now.